Hey, Matt here, and welcome to Mob Street. This video is going to be the technical specifications on the TW200. So, let's get into it. Recently, I've had a few questions about the TW200. How long is it? How fast can it go? What's the mileage on it? What tires should I get? What chain should I get? What's the seat height on it? All those are very good questions, and that's why I wanted to do a video about the technical specifications of the TW200. Now I'm going to start with the front of the bike and work my way back. So starting at the very front, the front tire is a 130/80/18, and since we're talking about the front, I'll just throw the size of the back in there real quick. That's a 180/80/14, so kind of a unique tire size combination here, but there are some companies out there who make matching sets for the front and rear. So let's go back to the front. Now, these are spoked or laced wheels that have a disc brake on the front. Now, if you're looking at the older TWs, and when I say older, I mean year 2000 down to 1987, the fronts had a drum brake, just like the brake on the rear is still a drum brake. In 2001, they updated that to the disc brake. So if you're concerned about that and you want a disc brake on the front, 2001 and newer, that is now standard. Hooked to the front wheel, we have our front suspension. These are 33mm forks, and they offer 6.3 inches of travel for the front. Some folks have said that in 2001 they got rid of the kickstart and added the electric start. The electric start has been on the TW since 1987. If you don't believe me, look at the parts schematics from Yamaha for the 1987s all the way up. The electric start has always been there. Now in 2001, the kickstart was discontinued on the TW200. Kits are available. If you want those, you can get those and install them. Now let's look at the fuel tank. We've got a 1.8 gallon tank on here with an estimated 78 miles a gallon. And the fuel is delivered to the engine through the Mikuni 28mm carb. Some folks have said, hey, TWs are fuel injected now. Hey, no they're not. They're still using the Mikuni 28mm carb to deliver the fuel to the engine. Now our engine has stayed the same as well. 196 cc's, single overhead cam, air-cooled, 2-valve, 4-stroke engine. This little power plant is sweet, it's durable, it's reliable, and with a 9.5-to-1 compression ratio, it's not going to be outrageous, so you can run regular pump gas in this thing and be just fine. From the engine down to the transmission, we have a 5-speed constant mesh transmission. It is shifted through the cable clutch up here and your shift lever on the left side of the bike. Now another thing that I want to talk about below the transmission and the engine is our ground clearance. For a little bike that's not very tall, it offers 10.1 inches of ground clearance, which is pretty sweet. Our seat height on this is 31.1 inches, which makes it one of the shortest bikes in the category. So it's very welcoming to shorter riders such as myself. I'm 5'6", and I can fit on this thing, touch flat-footed, just fine. Moving to the back, it does come with passenger foot pegs, and the cool thing is that the carrying capacity of the TW200 is 397 pounds. Now, as we're talking about that, the weight of the TW200 is 278 pounds. Some folks will say, oh my goodness, that is a very heavy bike. Coming from a Harley Davidson background, this is a very light bike. I find it extremely light just to cruise around on. It's extremely maneuverable, very welcoming, a slow speed maneuverability. Everything on this is just, it's good. Now, moving on towards the back of the bike, underneath our seat here and down to our swing arm, we have our monoshock rear shock, which offers 5.9 inches of suspension travel. Then we get on to our rear wheel. Our rear tire that's on this is, like I stated before, a 180/80/14. There's very few companies who make a tire in the stock size for this, but they are out there. So if you need to change one out, there are a few options to choose from. Now, turning our rear tire and our rear wheel is a 14-tooth front sprocket and a 50-tooth rear sprocket with a 428 chain that is 122 links. So if you want to change any of that out, there's your numbers on there. Now, overall, the bike is sitting at 82.3 inches long. So if you're wondering if it's going to fit in the back of your truck, that's how long the bike is. Now, I can park mine in my Chevy short bed and just place it a little bit of a diagonal. It'll fit. It's 44 inches tall and just over 32 inches wide, and it has a 52.2 inch wheelbase. So there are the technical specs of the Yamaha TW200. Not much has changed from 1987 to the now 2022 models that are coming out. So if there's any questions or comments, make sure to put those down below. As always, make sure to hit like, hit subscribe, and follow along. And if you're looking at getting parts for your TW200, just click on that Rocky Mountain ATV link that I have down in the description, and we're going to call her there. I'm Matt. This is the 2019 TW200. These have been the technical specs of the mighty TW. This is Mob Street, and thanks for watching.